Welcome to the Dumbfounded Dishes podcast. I am Mike. That is Ryan. Happy Halloween-ish. Kind of there.
It's the Halloween season. Well, it's close enough. Halloween's in 2 days, so it's
Yeah, basically.
yeah. I mean, really, Halloween sort of moves to like the weekend before the actual holiday anyway, if it falls on a
That's
weekend.
when most people, not most people, but like the trick or treating nowadays isn't on Halloween. It's on like days before or.
It's when your parents could take you, because no parent wants to fucking come home from work at 7 o'clock at night and walk their kid around the neighborhood.
Why not, assholes?
I mean, you know what? Honestly, it depends on where you live, because I just remember like living in New York, and like the neighborhood I grew up in, every year was like less and less houses did their house up for Halloween or answered their doorbell for like trick-or-treaters. And then again, like the last neighborhood I lived in Brooklyn before I moved down to Florida, it was even, you know, like the couple of years I was in that house, it just seemed like every year after that, it was like less trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, it does seem like it's getting that way, but you know, what the hell's going on with this thing? Come on. Sorry, I'm over here trying to. Let's try to get.
You get them. You get them a lot down here. Except what the plan is that they go to the strip malls and trick or treat at the storefronts. You know what I mean?
That's one way to do it.
What are you looking for?
My channel.
You can't find the Nothing Network.
Well, we're on. I'm looking for the Nothing Network, but we are the Dumbfounded Dipshits channel's main channel. But I'm looking for the Nothing Network, and I'm seeing a lot of Nothing Networks that aren't me.
Wow.
And I have that shit trademarked. So who are you people? Podcast about Nothing Network. What does that even mean?
It looks like you have some legal action to have to take.
I'm gonna have to sue everybody. I can't afford that. No. So we're gonna watch some scary videos. Allegedly, some people think they're scary. I probably don't.
I've seen a couple scary movies lately. I saw those.
That was an iPad. That was a tablet. The Amazon Fire nonsense.
Nice maxi pad.
The iPad's over here watching my child sleep, acting as a monitor.
So the iPad works better for surveillance.
Basically. So we'll go right into the. If I can find it. No, that's the wrong one.
Let me be the judge if this is scary.
I didn't watch this yet, so I don't know. So we are both the judge.
I know you sent me you sent me 2 videos. I think this is the 13-minute one.
Why? Wait, why did you schedule your podcast on YouTube 4 times? I did not schedule it 4 times. That's very weird. I scheduled it once, and then I had to delete that because it wouldn't let me upload the image. So I had to delete one scheduled from last time. But there was also an issue with scheduling. So not scheduling, an issue with the app that was scheduling it. So I don't know how many times it actually fucked it up. But it doesn't matter. It was scheduled once. Screw you people.
So yeah. YouTube sent out the fucking notification 4 times because you deleted it and took it down and deleted it.
It's still up. What's going on here? Let's see.
Does it matter? What does it do? What is it?
It doesn't really matter. What
is happening? What is happening here?
Apparently, we have a doppelganger podcast. Let's see.
Another Dumbfounded Dipshits podcast.
How do I view? Where's my channel? Just follow my channel. Just go to view your channel. How come they're making things so complicated?
So there's
I don't see it up twice actually.
There's an imposter dipshit podcast.
Oh, this is weird. Why is this even here? Yeah, there is a strange straggler for some reason. It did this last time. Anyway, we'll go right into this video. Let's see what's going on. Thunder, it's so scary. What's going on?
It always sets the mood.
Are we gonna see like an alien ship or something?
Well, if it's fixated in the sky, there's got to be something up in those clouds that they're trying to see.
I don't see anything. Anyone else see anything?
I just see lightning. Maybe it's like one of those you gotta wait for it. Maybe you see a face in the clouds or some shit.
Yo no say.
just looks like a bunch of lightning.
It's not really
Which is
technical.
cool. Dude, well, no, there's always some sort of technical issue.
Ooh, what was that? What was that? Is that what they look at? That looks like a bug or
What was
something.
that was
And the guy smoking a cigarette. I don't understand here. That could be anything. What are we looking at?
Ash. I think that might have been an ash that just flew up in front of the camera.
This is crazy, scary. What am I?
What is so frightening about the lightning?
I mean, it's a lot of lightning. I mean,
there was something that darted across the screen.
Like that? Yeah, but that could be. I feel like
ashes. That's just ashes.
Okay, I feel like it moves with the camera, so it's like a lens flare too. It could be anything. Like I feel like it just repeated itself too. This camera's it's on a loop.
What was that?
Oh,
many say they think it could possibly be a UFO.
That's not a. How could that be a fucking UFO? It's like not far from the camera. Are you fucking kidding me?
Others think it was just a misidentification of some lightning reflecting on other phenomenon.
Is it okay? Now, culturally speaking, now I know people are have anxiety about aliens and extraterrestrials and UFOs, but is it really fear? Is it like the same fear that you get from the boogeyman or ghosts or fear of demons or
the fear of the unknown? That's all it is.
Now I'm not gonna lie that like an alien invasion. What's up, Yoni? That an alien invasion isn't more frightening to me on a realistic level. But like if I'm going to watch a movie, like I'm not gonna be as scared going to watch, let's just say like Aliens or like something like that, or like fucking Independence Day than I would if it were, I don't know, Mike Myers or some shit.
I just want to hold on. Let's go right to this one real quick. I just want to point out we are speaking from a place of complete privilege because there's people in this world right now that are more worried about bombs being dropped on their house than they are of alien invasion. Just saying.
Yeah. I'm way happier that I'm here not having bombs, hurled over a wall. Yeah,
we are well aware of the situation. We are well aware that we are speaking from a place of privilege. But anyway,
yes,
this looks like it's more of a reflection from the camera, a reflection of some kind. It does not look like a UFO. Come on now.
In a video that you will not be able to guess what happens next, what would you do in a situation like this? Clearly, this event would be considered pure nightmare fuel for many. We can't help but be curious as we watch the sequence play out. What do you think?
I can tell right away what I think is you put annoying fucking music over the video. That's what I think.
So is it scary past like police tape? Like is
I don't know. He's holding this. Okay, this already screams fucking setup. This tape over the thing is going to the tape. His litter in his hand has a missing person fucking thing or missing cat. I don't know. It could be a cat. Or it could be a person. Who fucking cares?
Nah, it's bullshit.
Oh, and he finds a shirt hanging on a banister right away. Right away.
How convenient.
Cops didn't find it when they put the fucking caution tape up, but he finds it immediately. Someone saw the movie It too many times.
Have you been seeing red balloons in the gutters in your neighborhood yet? I know that people go around, instead of egging people go around just tying balloons up to sewer holes.
I have not seen that yet. No,
that's been the thing since the new version of the movie came out. So I just wanted to know if you saw any in your neighborhood.
That was added in post. You could hear the echoing from where it was recorded. That was not in the video. That was added in post. Yo,
why
Sandbox 10? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Why such bullshit?
The balloon's gone. I'll come.
Ending how we started, another ghost was caught on camera in a swimming pool.
That's not
This
a ghost.
time specifically, this ghost has a scary face.
No, it's not. Not a
This
ghost.
spooky photo that quickly circulated in Singapore and Malaysia shows that there are 3 young people
Yo,
in the
Indiana
swimming pool
Tones,
at the
when are you
time.
doing some more
One young man holds a camera.
metal detector videos? It's been a while, man, and I miss watching it. Unless I missed it and I'm the asshole. Unless you made a new a new metal detecting video and I just didn't see it because I'm the asshole. I don't know. Am I the asshole?
Taking a photo of his 2 friends in the water. But after seeing the photos, there is a mysterious figure behind the 2 young men. The face of the mysterious figure behind him is very scary and does not look human. They believe that what was caught on their camera was a ghost. What do you think?
For real. For real.
Is the figure in the
I think
swimming
it's
pool
something
caught on
out of
camera
focus.
really a ghost? Or was it just an effect of the splashing water or someone wearing a mask?
I think it's just a mask. Thank you.
Number 10. This is a terrifying moment of a supposed poltergeist violently shaking a lamp up and down, causing immense fear for a couple in their home. In the video, a woman can be seen on camera getting up to switch on a flickering floor lamp before it begins shaking aggressively.
Not really
No one
violently.
around to touch it.
It's not really aggressive.
Seeing this, she grabbed her phone and abruptly left. The event is particularly chilling and hard to explain.
No, it's really not chilling or hard to explain.
Okay, is there space behind that couch for somebody to be crouching down with a wire just to pull the lampshade that's on a spring? Like, you know,
Possible.
like these are
It
on
does
springs.
It does look like there could be someone behind that curtain. I'm kind of blocking the view right now, but it does look like there could be someone. No, maybe not, because you can see through it. But
No, behind the couch.
I was gonna. Okay, yeah, behind the couch. I was thinking behind.
It's
the
not
curtain,
flush to the wall, is it? It's not
Right.
flush to the wall because it's room enough
No,
for a
it's
lamp
not.
to be there.
No, it's not. And it doesn't even look. It's not like what I don't. Where's this? I want to pause this. Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Like what it drives me nuts about people that post this kind of shit, even in the Facebook groups, is like they're like, oh look, something's messing. Something's moving this up and down. Look, something's. So in your head, a ghost walked over to the light lampshade and does this. It has the hold on. It has the ability to move this
To pinch
object,
nipples.
to do
It has
this.
probably has the ability to pinch your nipples too.
So
but it
exactly.
chooses to move the lampshade and not pinch your nipples.
It makes no sense. Like if it could do that, it could throw a book at you. It could go, "Hey, buddy, look at me." It could do something else. But no, it chooses to shake a fucking lampshade. Are you fucking dumb? Or do you think we're fucking dumb?
It could grab you drunk. It could stick a finger in your asshole. You know what I mean?
Got
Like,
nothing better to do. What are you gonna do today? Well, I might move this microphone 2 inches one way and 2 inches back. I don't know. I'm a bored ghost.
all right, so you know how they have Beetlejuice on a marathon all weekend, right? Like on TBS or somewhere, TNT. One of those channels
I didn't
has
know that, but
Beetlejuice
that's awesome.
They're doing Beetlejuice 24/7, right? So
7
there's that
people
scene
here.
in the movie.
Thank you for coming. Hit the like, subscribe. You know all
Yeah,
that stuff.
what up, everybody? Happy Halloween. So we're talking spooky shit today. And now on back on to the Beetlejuice thing, there was a part in the movie where they're trying to figure out like what is the scariest shit that we could do to freak out this new couple that bought our house. And they're trying to brainstorm and shit like that. Like there's so much like they're not like going in a sheet and going, whoa, isn't ghost enough. If ghosts had the ability to alter the environment, like doing something like maybe throwing butcher knives at people or something like that instead of moving a lampshade if they really want to be scary. You know what I mean?
That's always been my argument. Is
Or if you really want to get somebody's attention, like I just said, you stick a finger in their asshole.
well,
You know what I mean?
If you
Wake
really
'em up.
want to, you know. It's like, oh yeah, my house is haunted. Oh, are they moving lampshades and turning lights off and on, or are they closing cabinets? No, they're fingering my asshole. On the next episode of Nuke's Top 10 Countdown, the ghosts that finger assholes.
Sodomite. The ghost of sodomy.
The ghost of sodomy.
The ghosts of sodomy's past.
Managed to pick up this strange
That's a clip I gotta cut.
happening. The camera detected that there was motion downstairs, but no one should have been there. And the homeowners were alerted. They first thought it might have been an intruder. After checking this, there was no sign of a break-in.
See, that's
You see
scary.
the figure
That's
appear,
scary.
moving from left to right, then dissolving away.
No, it doesn't dissolve away. It's right there still. See? It's very okay. So go back to that.
Yeah, but the glare was that glare, that fog in the middle. The glare is like blurring it out anyway. So
Yes, I was
To
gonna
right,
say that
then
glare in the
dissolving
middle.
break-in.
is the
We see the
infrared
figure
light
appear.
bouncing back off of the object that's in front.
Mhm.
See this white light
Yeah.
at the bottom here?
Yeah, that's how you have contrast in night vision when you have
Yeah.
these surveillance
Moving from
cameras at
left.
nighttime when it's pitch black.
I don't think the ghosts have lube unless they're using ectoplasm, slimy ectoplasm as lube.
Ghost jizz.
Ghost jizz.
Ghost come.
To right, then dissolving away.
It's like the sheets
See,
that they're
that's
floating around in.
weird.
It's just like
It-
the
I
sheets
feel
they're
like
floating
this is
around. It's
set
like
up.
all cummy sheets. Of course,
I
it's
feel
set
like
up.
this is
But
set up.
but Mike, I'm talking about the sheets that ghosts wear are just cummy sheets. Like they're just like stiff from all the cum.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Like they're just starched up, so they don't really like flow around. They just look like bells,
Number
like
8.
just stiff
These
in the
children
air.
have no idea how close it came to disaster. We see the two
See, all that ghost shit, whatever. That's whatever. This shit is
Whatever.
actually scary.
running towards
Yes.
the camera when the second one's feet gets tangled up by something. She noticed it, but kept running away. Ultimately, this is what saved her. A venomous snake was waiting at the side of the footpath.
Yeah, it went to
When her
bite.
foot hit it,
An-
it was enough to
an-
throw off its strike and prevented her from being bitten with a lethal dose of venom. They are both lucky to be alive after
Oh,
such
she just near missed that.
Which
Like
reminds me of that episode of Keeping It Blunt with Mike and John. No, the episode of Urban Exploring Stone and Afraid, where we're exploring a haunted, abandoned fort in Queens on the beach. And as we're walking through the trail that John took us to, which was the long way, because apparently there was a clear road that went there, a clear road to walk, wide open, clear road. But instead, it took us to a hiking trail that was overgrown and not maintained. And as we're walking, we ran into ticks. We actually physically saw them just chilling on
That's-
trees everywhere.
That's fucking scary.
Everywhere. Like John's like, yo, look at this leaf down by our ankles. What do you mean? There's 4 ticks on one leaf waiting with their claws out like this, waiting.
Bro, yeah, that's
So-
Lyme disease. That's all fucking Lyme disease.
And also in that episode, he's walking and a fucking giant snake slithers right past him on the road. And when I say giant snake, I actually mean an average size snake. And it was only a garter snake, so it was completely fucking harmless. But when you're
Yeah.
hiking on a trail, not expecting to see a snake, it's a fucking giant snake.
I get grass snakes in my backyard, and when I go out for like my jogs and my walks, I go out my backyard past like a pond, kind of like like a Florida canal style pond, and there's all sorts of shit going in and out of this, all sorts. But I walk through the grass anyway because it's a shortcut. I don't want to have to walk through my whole community just to get out to the main road. I just shortcut through the backyard because it's right there. And anything could fucking jump out. But I'm just going to take the risk. I'm just going to fucking man up and be like, well, what happened to you? I got bit by a fucking water moccasin. Well, why? I was just walking.
Speaking of rabies, by the way, so when you go into like zombie films and the zombie genre, one of the better movies is 28 Days Later.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and if you think about it, that's basically a mutated version. It is a mutated version of rabies. So we already have a zombie virus. Oh, that can't happen in the real world. We already have one. It's called rabies. There's no
We
cure
have
for it.
rabies, yeah. We have
And,
rabies,
yeah.
and we have other things too. Even The Last of Us, like there
Yeah.
are cordyceps that,
Yep.
that turn insects into like zombies. And that's not all. That's not all. We do where
Parasite.
not only the parasites, but where the zombie genre came from was like voodoo, like alchemy zombies. Like somebody blows a powder in your face, and then you're just going to do whatever they say, and you're literally going to be like, nothing about you is human other than the actions. Like you can't talk, you're catatonic, but you're moving around and doing shit. And there's an actual chemical compound that could do that to fucking people, turn them into zombies. So, yeah, like a lot of those elements. But the thing is, when you're looking at this fantasy zombie, it is a culmination of all of these separate ideas that would have to perfect storm. Like you would have to have rabies form with a parasite that forms with fucking I don't know,
Man, bear, pig.
man, bear, pig, and then and then it goes viral.
call.
A pandemic.
Number 7. A woman in India managed to climb to the top of a tree and stands there effortlessly. Some say that she is a local witch, and others think that she might just be having a mental breakdown. Either way, this isn't normal.
No, it's not normal.
Did she
Thank
take
you.
a dive? Did she jump?
I don't know. But she's just way too balanced up there for
Number
like,
6.
that's
When
it?
he turned off the light,
That's it. You're not. What happened? Like the guy just stopped recording.
It's just creepy that she's at the top of a tree and nobody called the cops to see, or a mental health fucking professional to see if
that's
she.
probably what happened. They probably cut out the end of the video where the fire department comes and say, "Hey, idiot, we're coming up there to get you, you fucking prick."
security cameras captured a woman appear in the room with him. She walked
Fake.
straight towards him in
Fake.
the darkness.
Instantly fake. Instantly fake. If he can't see where he's going, he'd walk into the fucking wall. Come on.
But he doesn't
now.
seem to be aware of her presence. The camera cuts out just as we were about to see what happens next.
Of course it does.
The poster stated, "Who is this in my house? Should I be scared?" After seeing the
Who is this in my house? Should I be scared?
clip, what do you
I
think?
don't think that's what you say in your clip. I think you call the police.
What is? I don't get it. Like, I feel like there's like a level of tism with a lot of these content creators, as to what really is going to get
Okay.
people to watch.
Well,
It's
yes,
like,
but
I know we're watching right now, but I'm recommending that don't waste
don't
your
watch
fucking
it. Yeah.
time.
Well, okay. Now you're gonna kill us because then they're gonna complain that we were critiquing it negatively, and they're gonna take us. Oh, and our last video got taken down, by the way. The slap competition video.
Why?
That got because I guess
Because
they
we
got.
talk shit about slapping.
I don't know, but
Is
some
it
of these
bullying?
videos, man,
Is it, am I being a bully?
Number 5.
no, definitely
We
not.
see the toddler on the floor coming closer to the camera, but look behind and you'll see it. A dark, creepy figure jumps across a hallway in the back. It looks like a gnome, or perhaps some kind of little person.
Okay,
from
it's a little
folklore.
weird. That could have been added in post or anything. It could have been.
Maybe
but
it's
it's a little weird. It is a little weird. It moves a little weird too.
Somebody threw a T-shirt from one room to the next.
Yeah, but it kind of
T-shirt.
doesn't keep that shape though.
It's a T-shirt
It
Or-
is a little weird, but
or,
it's probably,
or a dark cummy towel.
no, I did not. I did not get a copyright strike. Thank you for your concern. See, this I don't have like a great explanation for, but the video is pixelated and shitty to begin with, so it could be anything.
It's an article of it's cloth. Somebody's in that room and they just
Number
threw.
4. Here is something else just as terrifying.
I can
A person
recreate
watching
that. I
TV
can
in the
recreate
darkness
that.
After this, we can see the dark glow of the screen, some other details in the dimly lit room.
Is that
Suddenly,
Grey's
something
Anatomy?
rushes past and disappears. It's blurry in the dimly
Hold on, I want to see it again.
lit room. Suddenly,
Creepy, but
That
it
balloon?
kind of looks like it's
we can see the
what's in front of the camera on the bottom over here. Is that an animal?
It looks like a foot or a dog.
dark glow of the screen, some other details in the dimly lit room.
Is that a balloon?
When it gets close to the when it's by the camera, it also dims the opposite side.
So-
See how it gets darker all around
Suddenly,
it? That could be like a piece of dog hair or fluff floating past the camera.
something rushes
Or
past
it could
and
be somebody's
disappears.
finger.
It's blurry and almost transparent, but we can see it move. What was that?
The reason why it looks transparent is because it's really close to the lens.
Yeah.
It does look like a creeper.
It
Remember
looks
the
like
movie, The Creepers?
Yeah. I don't know. It also
Right.
sort of looks like it's on that TV screen too, a little bit.
Was that the name of the movie?
Creepers. What? Night of the Creeps?
No,
Jeepers
Ah.
Creepers?
no. They were little monsters and they rolled.
The Critters.
Is it Critters?
Critters. And Critters 2.
I don't think
Yeah,
is it.
Critters.
Oh, it is Critters. You're right. Why did I think Creepers? Creepers. But Critters was a great movie.
Critters is awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I see in this video. I see a little critter moving across the screen with his head.
At first,
Yeah,
it appears to be a small
but then it
child or
doesn't-
person walking across, but the original poster states that this isn't the case. Others seeing the clip online have said that it might have been a wandering spirit. Perhaps it was the house's previous owner caught on camera. What do you think? Ghost caught on camera or just a recording glitch?
Not a glitch, but not a ghost.
Whack.
Number 3. He thought he was alone, but he couldn't be more wrong.
This
There's
could be
something very
scary.
spooky lurking in the back seat.
What the fuck is that? Could be a book bag. It's just something not moving back there. It could be a bag.
Yeah. Or a little ghost kid.
Does it move? It doesn't move. It's not moving.
It's moving.
Talking
It's
on
fake.
the phone, the man in the front seat of the car doesn't have the slightest idea to turn
It's fake.
around and see what the grotesque-looking entity might be.
Totally
We
fake.
see it lean out.
Okay. If this was real, it'd be national news. This
Yeah,
is fake.
it sort of definitely
Back
looks
seat.
like it's
Look at
like
him
something
and
else.
sink away.
Like, yeah, that's like.
Creepy, but you know,
It
probably
has burnt skin,
That's
dramatically
actually-
scary
this is-
eyes, and a completely demonic.
Even though totally post, right, and fake, like it definitely was the creepiest one out of all of them.
Number 2. She was
So
simply
he's moving
trying
up
to
in
take
quality.
a bath, but her boyfriend came in to mess around whilst recording a fun home movie with his camera.
fun home movie. It looks a little rapey to me.
They talk and play around for a bit, but both don't notice
They've done
anything
this
normal
before.
at the time. When the camera pans, however, in the background there is a creepy woman dressed in black. She looks highly out of place, and looking more closely, we can see that she is holding her hands over her mouth, giving off a menacing voyeur look.
That is a little weird,
That was just
But
the
I-
other hooker.
but I believe that's completely set up.
That was just the other hooker.
The
Getting
other
dressed.
hooker. Wow.
なんだろう。どんな感じ？どんな感じじゃない。なんで撮ってんのもう。撮っちゃダメ。
I've heard some weird voices, but that was like the worst I've ever heard.
撮ってないよ。撮ってるよ。うわ。来いよ。もうやめて。いいでしょ？いいの。なんで撮ってん
Come on.
の？
What do we got? What do we got?
Where is the?
No.
これは？
Rapey. I told you. I told you.
She's putting her earrings on.
Oh, she's covering her face. It's just
Ghost in the Kitchen
Not real.
caught on tape. These people are about to have a terrifying encounter in their own home.
Is it down here?
and then they died. This is number one.
And in sight, but a little girl
Number
asked her
six.
mother to go play
That
with
was
the
number
ghost
one with
that
six.
was using it. And
That wasn't that bad.
he-
That wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but
Like,
it's clearly fake.
but as far as it like trying to be scary, like they accomplished a pretty decent mission in a very like short period of time.
This took place
You
in the
know?
Mexican state of Yucatan. According to the mother who recorded the video, a swing was moving by itself, so she decided to start recording the alleged paranormal event with her phone.
Just because it's moving back doesn't make it an alleged
However, the real scare was when her daughter asked her to play with the ghost boy who was allegedly using the swings. Go on, she said. Everyone has their point of view. It should be noted that my daughter asked me minutes before she could play with the child. I leave it to the discretion of each person. She added that she also heard whispers at the time that weren't picked up. A ghost child? In
So,
another instance,
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to a park and just start chucking the empty swings, run off to the side real quick, turn my camera on, start filming and be like, wow, these swings are moving by themselves. And just film them while they're just swinging until the inertia just stops eventually. And be like, wow, it was just totally swinging by itself.
Who would have known it can swing by itself?
Yeah, those look like some fancy ass, like super not like low viscosity fucking.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean? Like teeter totters. So I don't think it's that impossible to say, like, if a kid jumped off that thing 2 seconds before, that it wouldn't be like swinging on its own for a few minutes after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. Sorry.
Like no. What I'm saying is, like, I don't think it's impossible to think that the thing won't be swinging a couple minutes after a kid just jumped off of it.
Yeah, exactly. You know? It makes no sense.
These people detected ghosts playing in a children's park in broad daylight. A woman was able to record how one of the games moved completely alone, as if driven by a paranormal force.
What games?
A mobile structure was captured while it was moving completely alone, with no wind or anyone around it, as if driven by a paranormal force.
What are we looking
A
at?
woman is heard saying at the beginning of the video, "It has been moving for a long time. It is moving, and there is no one. No one has mounted." Very close, in another one of the structures, you can see the 3 children, but they do not interact with the structure where the paranormal event would be taking place.
What are we looking at?
I don't know. It just keeps
the fucking camera.
Yeah, that was a waste of time,
dude.
What is this?
Traumatized.
In 1983, a prospector arrived in a river valley in Glacier Bay, Alaska.
This is about all the missing people in Alaska.
He was following rumors.
There's a lot. We're not going to get into this now. It's a 3-hour video.
Oh, yeah, fuck that. But I heard that, you know, like, obviously, like, what they say about national parks and stuff like that, like how many people go missing a year, and how, like, you know, you have, like, serial killers who would, like, use, like, parklands to fucking prey on people and shit like that. And nothing's more boony than being up in fucking Alaska.
Technically, it's all was that. The first one was a reaction too, but it was a Halloween reaction, so it's different. But let's see what this is about.
I could not.
Shit that
I had to look it up from the office.
Yeah. What were you saying? You said Mike.
Yeah, no, I said the shit that I send Mike.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I thought you heard Mike. Sorry, I should have played. I played that over you. Anyway, the shit that he sends me, and smoke it if you got him.
Of national statistics from a 2019 study, in ever increasing numbers, we are now at a lesbian divorce rate of 72%.
That is a really high fucking number.
So the top 4 reasons.
I would have never thought going into like the beginning, like 20 some odd years ago, the beginnings of like same-sex marriage. I didn't think that, especially for some reason, and I know this sounds like, I was just being presumptuous, that the lesbian side of it, I thought that maybe the like the male, you know, same-sex marriage was gonna probably end more like a 72%.
I disagree.
Rate.
I disagree.
I thought the lesbians weren't going to divorce at all. I thought the lesbian divorce rate was going to be like 15% or some stupid shit like that.
I made a comment to a coworker who I almost said was a lesbian, but is a lesbian. And I was like, you know, I hope my daughters are lesbians, so they have to deal with men because we're fucking animals and blah 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 blah. And she goes, Mike, women are just as bad, if not worse, than men. And I'm like, really? She goes, you have no idea. And I was like, I'm like, And think about it. Men and women don't get along. I mean, sometimes, but you know what I mean? Like it's that, not that they don't get along. How do I put this? We
historically don't chill with each other.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you would assume that 2 men will get along and 2 women will get along, but no, 2 men will be bros and 2 women will compete against each other.
I don't know if it's. I think it's just like, you know, women are starting to learn that they get fed up with their own shit.
that they are reporting getting divorced is feeling ignored, inequality in the partnership, adultery, and domestic violence. Personally, I feel like this lends some weight to men's arguments and complaints about how women are behaving in relationships. Because when you have lesbian divorce statistics that look like that, the girls are kind of telling on themselves.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up.
Yep. That's what I was trying to insinuate before.
Let the debate begin in the comments. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know if I totally disagree with that, but the thing is, you can't 100% of the time now, like, you know, go after statistics as a tell-all about everybody's individual experience. But statistics do tell a lot about the whole, right? And that 72% is fucking crazy, because I think like
This is my pet duck Adams with her first swim. Be careful, Adam.
Mike, I'm fucking talking. What are you doing?
You hear it? You hear that? Oh, it's not even supposed to be sharing that. What the hell? I am so sorry.
I was talking.
No. I didn't try to play it. I was trying to open it on a new tab. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is that if from 20 years ago, I wouldn't have thought that it was going to go that much higher than the straight, marriage divorce rate. Which
I didn't think it would go above it.
I think it's still 50-50.
It is,
I
right?
think that's changed.
50.
Yeah. I don't think it's changed.
See, what I usually do is while you're talking, I try to prepare the next video, and it wasn't supposed to fucking
Touch?
play. Stop playing. Did you hear that again?
Yeah, I did.
Fuck.
You're crossing the streams, Mike.
God damn it. Let's see now if I can do this right.
Well, wait a minute. Now, what is the gay divorce rate?
You mean like two men?
Because the lesbian divorce rate is 75%. That's this lady saying, but she maybe is that okay? What I have heard, this is the first time I heard that statistic. I don't know if it's true. She's citing things that may be true. I haven't researched it yet, but I did hear that domestic violence, the rates of domestic violence are higher in lesbian household. Like lesbians beat on each other more often than in straight and or gay relationships. It's crazy, right? I would never have thought that like lesbians would be so volatile. You know what I mean?
I mean, the divorce rate for lesbians, according to this, is 14%.
Oh, so
and the divorce rate for men, gay men, is only 7%.
7%. So then where is this?
What?
So where is this lady getting the 75% thing from?
I don't know.
She's full of shit.
When was this data from? That's another question. Let's see.
72%. Go up. Scroll back up. Look, same-sex marriage. Scroll back up a little bit.
Yeah.
It says
right here.
Divorce rate higher for lesbians than gay men at 72%, it says. 74%, 78%.
What's 78%? Went
in
to
2016.
Jesus. Back down to 74%, then to 75%. Wow, this is saying it. What's the source, though? Who is it? It's a lawyer. It's a divorce lawyer.
Who would know? Who would know? Who would know better than a panel of divorce lawyers? You know what I mean? If you're gonna pull, I mean, obviously the statistic you're gonna have to get from some sort of local government, right? As to how many people registered for divorce papers in any given year, in any given jurisdiction.
And the straight couple divorce rate is what?
37?
Only 2%? Does that seem right?
That they mean per year. Just in all general total. The total, it says 70% of what? That's
who initiates it? Who initiates it?
Oh, the wife does.
70% of the time it's the wife. But that's crazy. It's only 2%. Is that correct?
A year. of
Yeah, no, of
popula-
course, but that's still
of total all marriages that have started.
you would assume it's like a lot more than that because Vegas is
50
pretty busy.
Yeah, 50% end in divorce.
So then the divorce rate between gay and lesbian couples is much higher than straight couples.
Yeah, but wait a minute. I want to know between gays and lesbians who has the higher divorce rate.
Did we just look that up? It
Yeah,
just
but we
said.
didn't-
Oh, but that was weird because it did say 70% for. See, this
It's
says
70.
this says 14 versus 7.
14% a year, probably, which is in comparison to like straight 2%. That's fucking way higher, and 7% seems it would be a little less. So maybe that's it. It's just half of. Gay divorce rate.
Where is...
I don't know why I just presumed that it would be so much less. You know what I mean?
So not to change the subject aggressively, but where'd it go? What is it? Okay.
Mike, I think you're being a little aggressive about the topic change right now.
I was told to Google search this, and I didn't realize this is what happens.
Oh yeah, I don't know if
told,
that's a real movie. That's not a real movie. It's a
I was
Danish
told
movie.
to Google search what space movie came out in 1992, and what I got was From Outer Space.
Damn.
Bleep Bleep from Outer Space.
Bleep from Outer Space. So is this a real
It's a
like
Danish
serious movie?
English language science fiction short film directed by Danish performance artist Morten Lindberg. Oh my God, that's real. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Known as Master Fat Man.
No,
He's known. People know him. Mike, when you meet him, call him Master Fat Man because they know you know him as Master Fat Man. He's known as Master Fat Man.
If anyone was going to make a movie called, I would expect his name to be Master Fat Man
from Outer Space.
Wait, can I say it though? Like, because it's the name of the movie. I know it's with the hard. It's with the hard R too.
It's with the hard R, but it's one word.
But it's.
I wouldn't say it. But what I'm saying is, do you think he was like sitting on a toilet bowl for sure after one of the buffet meals that he just had the night before, to the point of comatose, right? He went into a diabetic coma the night before from fucking eating pierogies, and he was sitting on the toilet bowl the morning afterwards after waking up out of said coma. He drank a milkshake, and immediately had to go shit. And while he's on the toilet bowl, his legs are going numb because he's shitting for half an hour. He's not like lazy, like I don't want to get up off the toilet bowl, I'm just scrolling. He's literally shitting. Direct a 20-foot shit into the toilet bowl. He's got a flush in between, right? And he's like, do you know what would be a great fucking idea for a movie? Science fiction. I want it to be like all the great classic sci-fi movies of the modern time, which everybody from 2001: A Space Odyssey to Star Wars everything's in space. He's like, I want it to be in outer space, but I want it to be a different kind of person in outer space, right? What year was this? 1992? And he's like, you know what's real different to us Danes? Blanks are like very strange to us Danish people. We're named after a fucking pastry.
Or is a pastry named after us? No.
Or is the pastry named after us?
Hold on.
And we're going to name this. And he got up. He limped off the fucking toilet bowl. He limped off the toilet bowl because his legs are now asleep. He's so fat, he's got purple around his cankles. He's got purple cankles because of the circulation. So his legs falling asleep on the toilet bowl because he took a 20-foot shit after eating his brains out. The Master Fat Man said, guys, to his entourage, because they're all just fat in the living room, sweating up the living room. It just smells like fat sweat in the living room. He's like, guys, and everybody's like, yes, Master Fat Man. I got the greatest idea for our next movie. And they're like, what's the name? What's the name? And they're like, what's the name of the movie? And he's like, blank, blank from outer space. We're going to call it blank, blank from outer space, and it's going to be a hit.
Okay. Guys. I have a great idea for a movie. And it's about these intergalactic homosexual black men from the planet Anus who discover the presence of female creatures on planet Earth. And they're going to use ray guns. Using these ray guns, they're going to proceed to eliminate the females on Earth one by one. And then we'll have this eliciting graduate from the previous oppressed male population before leaving. Before leaving the planet, they leave behind a gay ambassador to educate the Earthlings about their new way of life. That's the plot of the movie, and we'll call it Aliens from Outer Space. No, that doesn't work. Gays from Outer Space. No, that's not good enough. Gay niggers from Outer Space. That's it. That's what we'll call it.
Well, listen, it's sort of a telling. It's sort of like, I think this is ahead of its time. This movie was obviously, aside from they could have been a little bit more creative with the name.
I want to know.
They could have been a little bit more creative with the name.
Whoever plays the alien, do they go, here's the script, Mr. Whatever your name is, please don't get offended? Or is he like, yeah, my first leading role, I'm the villain. Yeah, okay.
Do you think they went after the darkest guy that they could find? The guy on the cover, right? He's a star of the movie. Do you think they went to the darkest guy in Denmark and said, "Hey dude, do you think you could be in this movie? We need an African fellow to play this part. Do you think you could be like?" He's like, "No, I'm Indian." They're like, "That's close enough."
Or
it's close. Tomato. It's the same.
Tomato.
And what we could do is we could just say that. They're going to believe it. This is for the Danish people. They don't know not to say that these words. They 1992. Now they're all. I'm pretty sure they're like, right? Isn't like Europe like super like liberal?
I think it depends where you go. Probably
I think Denmark is probably very politically correct. Like, European Union,
there's still a large white supremacist population in many parts of Europe.
Maybe. But even still, they put the facade up like you can't say these words. But in 1992, you couldn't say these words as in title of a movie in the United States. You couldn't. You couldn't do that here. But in Denmark, you could. And they did. And it's probably a classic amongst B-movie fans in Denmark. They probably go every Friday night, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and they yell Danish gay slurs and racist slurs at the screen as a parody. They march with BLM. They're all pro European Union or whatever. They hate Brexit. They hate that. Like Britain is leaving the European Union. They hate that shit, but they love going to see the GN words in outer space from outer space on Friday night. They all get dressed up like the characters because it's Danish tradition in clogs. They all have clogs on, and they go to watch this movie. This is one of those TikTok video trends now that everybody's like, "Don't Google this," and then you go and you Google it. Somebody said it was racist.
So I want to point out also that we can't see how dark he actually is because it's purple. And so we don't know if he's Indian like you suggested, but here's what I think happened. And
he may be Palestinian. I don't know.
Someone's gonna go back to this and go, you guys, instead of getting a Danish black man, you guys got a black man from England. How dare you cultural appropriate it?
All I know is that he's making both of our Jewish wives very nervous right now. Just say.
Who's the lead actor? Oh wow! Look at this person's character's name: Sergeant Shaved Balls, Captain B. Dick.
This is
Armin S. Mr. Armin S.
Mike, this is high art, Mike. As a film, as somebody who's involved in filmmaking, has made films. Like you have to respect the high art. because it's high art. This
Who
is
is this
respectable. You know, it's like what's that? You remember that guy? What's the guy's name? James Franco played him in the movie. He made that movie, The Room,
disaster
or something.
artist and the
The
Room.
disaster artist. Yeah,
Johnny.
Trudeau or something.
No, that's the president or prime minister.
Is it? Speaking about divorce rates, isn't he getting divorced? Didn't he like?
Tommy, not Johnny. Tommy Wiseau. Wiseau. This guy. Wiseau.
This guy has a following fan base. He has Swifties. This guy has Swifties.
Here's the thing. He's supposedly making another movie soon. And I don't know how true that is because it's ridiculous if he is. And he was old as fuck when he made The Room, in my opinion. No one actually knows how old he is.
He lied about his age. He was like, I think he was hanging out with all these 20-year-olds saying that he was 21.
Movie. It's a 2023 movie called Big Shark.
Big Shark.
It's in theaters now. We can go see it in the Village East.
It's been promoting. It's been promoting for a little while. Do you think it'll be playing in 2 weeks at the Village East?
We're watching the trailer right now.
Okay, boys, I'm the referee. Who's ready for a fight? You two. What's your name? Jimmy.
It's already written horribly.
What's your name? Tony. I want a good clean fight. Ready? Go.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this about? Did you even figure out did anyone out there have any idea what this movie's about? A boxing ring and a shark with water coming down a hallway, alleyway, excuse me.
This guy was sitting at a round table. He's at a table meeting, right? And he's like, guys, what are two of the greatest movies ever?
Sharknado and Jaws.
No, listen. He's like, what are the two greatest movies ever? Jaws and Rocky. And I think what we need is this fighting from Rocky, and a referee is saying ready to fight, and then somebody's in water, get attacked by shark. Same time, disaster, big shark. This is the movie. And that's how he gave that whole.
Do you know what the problem is with everything you just said?
What's the problem?
No, it's not a problem with you. What you said. It's a
It's
problem
what he
with.
said. It's not what,
Yes. So when you did it in his voice just now and you pitched it, in my brain, when I started playing this movie and I said this is horribly written, I imagined that voice writing the script, and that was a very good impression of him.
We're like, this is great.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Over the wall. You'll never see it in movie before. Shark roll through wall and eat somebody in street. Never before.
More. Hold on. There's a couple of seconds left. What's going on? Coming soon. Is it gonna be like a teaser at the end? Oh, come on. Is there a better trailer? That's trailer 1. Where's trailer 2? Why won't you let me zoom down?
This guy is like almost a real life success. How like characters like the characters in Dumb and Dumber become somehow just able to live life and like somehow in some way, right? Because he has a cult fan base, right? This is all cult fan base.
I only think he has a cult fan base because the movie is horrible, and that's why it's entertaining because it's so bad.
Mike, do you think he's a confidence man, or do you think people just know that he might be a little on the spectrum and they just let him do things?
So he funded The Room with his own money allegedly, and no one knows how he has money, but they just say he has money somehow.
maybe
So,
family.
I don't know. To be honest, I
But
don't know.
nobody's confirmed that. Nobody's ever confirmed it.
No, they don't even know if that's his real name that he
Okay,
uses.
boys, I'm the referee. Who's ready for a fight?
See, that's when I said horrible writing. It's I'm the referee. You're standing in the ring with a bow tie on. We know you're the referee. You don't have to announce you're the fucking referee.
Before a fight, people are like, "What's your name? My name's Johnny. What's your name? My name's Tommy. We're gonna fight now." It's like, no, like, you may not even know your sparring partner's fucking name.
If you guys have
I
seen
might know his name.
the movie The Room, they talk like the characters in the movie The Room. That's how you know it's fucking.
Today, Tony, I want a good clean fight. Ready? Go!
Okay, so I'm sorry. It's the same so far. Okay, there's the big shark, but what does it even come from? Hold on, they're boxing and then.
What does the boxing have to do with
What is a shark falls from the sky? It's like Sharknado continuation. Like it. That's it. It's just longer in the back.
But you know what? Even as bad as it is, I'm gonna watch it, just because.
I mean, you gotta watch it. What's this? How do I share this one instead? What is this that you sent me?
Oh, obese is the N word for plus size people, and there was just a comment I thought was funny that was underneath it that somebody commented.
Obese, this one.
Obese, please. Obese, please.
Oh yeah. That I saw that. Where'd it go? It's not even here. But yeah, I saw obese, please.
Size people.
Obese, please.
Yeah.
Obese is the N word for plus size people.
Obese, please.
Obese is the N word for plus size people.
This is the thing. Can I say this as a formerly fat? Well, still sort of hefty. I'm still sort of stocky, right? That it's actually a clinical term.
Obesity.
That is medical word. That's a medical word.
Yes. It's a highly offensive medical word that should be abolished.
I just think like people are trying to make it go the way that the R word went, like retarded, like how retarded now it's like there's so many other words.
In some context, that word is necessary, like when you're retarding an engine.
Or fire. Or a fire.
Or see, it always has to do with an engine most of the time. Like that mechanic was retarded and fucked up my engine.
Yeah, or like if the clothing that you're wearing is like it's just retarded against it. It's just retarded against fire.
It's a fire.
I know it's retarded. I know it's a fire retard.
So I don't know why this made me laugh so much, but this just made me laugh. This video, just it's.
Look, Adam going for his first swim. Be careful, Adam. Adam.
I watched this video.
Adam going for his first.
Okay, but it has to be fake. I think the audio was added later on, like the voiceover. But like it's just so funny.
Somebody from a bird sanctuary is probably letting a bird go.
Yes.
And they used somebody's like voice over that.
But if this is real, it's like, oh, my pet duck's just gonna go for a swim.
Be careful, Adam.
Motherfucker. Peace.
Adam.
Peace.
Adam. This is
It's
my
a
pet
classic.
duck, Adam, going for his first swim.
Did you send me this one?
I may have. I don't remember.
So I just got fired for literally no reason. My boss said it's because you're on your phone too much. You're too distracted at work. So I just got fired for literally no reason. My boss said it's because you're on your phone too much. You're too distracted at work.
Sorry. But I hope he's okay. But
that was a real car accident.
That
just got fired for literally no reason.
He's moving.
Because
he's
you're
moving.
on too much.
Yeah,
You're
I
too
know.
distracted at work.
This channel was kind of awesome. This not channel, this
So I just got
page,
fired.
this account. Like, I'm sorry, I might murder you. Not you, but my child. Not really.
I have no words.
Yeah.
Like
I remember
what?
those days.
At least they're smiley faces.
I remember.
Middle fingers or something.
I remember not stopping my little brother. I was like 7 years older than him too. I'm 7 years older than him, and I remember like not seeing my sister do it because she used to sneak. Because I remember getting yelled at for doing that as a kid, but I wasn't able to stop my sister. But I literally watched my brother do it, and I was like, and he was stopped the most from drawing on the walls, and he just kept going back. It was a wonder how he didn't turn into a graffiti artist.
Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
I've never had this happen to me. However,
you know what that hammer is, right? You know that how heavy that hammer is, right?
yes, no, I'm aware. So I've never had this happen to me. However, I have witnessed others do it, and it was hilarious. Just as hilarious as you could imagine it should be.
Mr. Toretto, you didn't pass the eye exam of your driver's test.
Things change.
I'm sorry, but your driver's license application is rejected.
What is this?
They want to keep me from behind the wheel.
You're 80 years old, Dom. You're too old to drive.
Oh, I just got it. It is totally.
Hi, Dom.
I mean,
What's
it
next?
is,
I don't even know what's going on.
Neither do I.
No one outruns their past.
Maybe this is.
That's kind of
At
horrible.
first, we didn't know what to do with all the money. We tried burying it, shredding it, and burning it. But in the end, we decided to just give it all away.
Coming in, sir. I'm getting back in line.
At first, we didn't know what to do with all the money.
All girls are bi. You just need to find out if she is bipolar, bilingual, bisexual, or just a bitch. All girls are bi. You just need to find out if she is bipolar.
Sorry, ladies. What the? Is she naked?
I love repo videos.
Is she naked? She's naked.
Yeah. What?
Fuck.
They're taking her car.
Damn.
Yeah,
Oh, disaster. This is gonna be a disaster. Nice. Oh, no. That wasn't that bad. Not that bad. Oh.
Yo, but
hey,
the repo man, I follow a few repo like videos like Miami repo. I watch that all the time because the craziest repos happen down here in South Florida. But I'll watch you'll get people, dude. There's a whole bunch of them where people will just jump on top of their car getting towed away and just hang on for dear life while the car is just being towed. Not giving a fuck.
I love when the guys try to drive over, get in the car and drive off the thing, and they rip their fucking car apart.
Yeah, I think being a repo tow truck driver is probably because where you got to go to repossess cars, it's got to be one of the fucking most dangerous jobs. You know what I mean?
How's your fantasy team doing?
Oh, don't talk about my fantasy team. Probably should. I don't give a fuck. Jets beat the Giants today, so I got my Jets t-shirt on, right? But my fantasy team is not doing as good as the Jets. Both of my fantasy teams. Both of my fantasy teams are doing I was trending 50-50 between me and the two teams that I'm playing this week. Man, not even close. At the end of it, I think I'm losing in one of them. And the other one, it's I'm not going to know until tomorrow night. And we both have players that are playing in Monday Night Football. So I'm probably going to lose because I suck at fantasy sports. And it's not that I suck. I actually pick good teams. Just I always get beat by the slightest of fucking margins.
Yeah, my team has underperformed this entire year. Anyway, back to entertainment. Now, I don't know if you watched this one. I sent it to you. It ties into the Joe Rogan recently had Jeremy Corbell and those guys again on the podcast, and they talked about some of these. They actually brought up some of what they're going to bring up in this one, which is kind of crazy. And it sounds insane saying that you believe some of this. Well, I'm not saying I believe some of this, but I'm saying that I don't know. And it
I'm gonna say
sounds
this
interesting.
like that, like sort of, and I'm like, I was sort of thinking the similar thing, except I'm thinking more of like, I'm intrigued by what they have to say, but I'm not taking everything so much as to with a grain of salt, but I'm gonna be skeptical the whole way through until there's 100% solid evidence of anything.
So this guy breaks it down pretty well. So we'll watch it. I'm going to skip through a little bit because he does little comedy skits, and we don't need to watch them though because we want to get to the bones and meat and potatoes.
This episode of the Y-Files is brought to you by the military online game War Thunder.
We're like, we're not sponsored by War Thunder.
Your world is an illusion. Your choices are irrelevant. Your friends, your family, and everyone around you are just manifestations of your mind.
Oh, before I even go further, I should explain that that's not what he believes. That's his episode shtick. So like he just explains things and he researches things and explains what he finds when he researches them. Kind of like we do, but way better than we can ever possibly think about doing it.
What are we doing, Mike? What am I doing? I don't know. What are we doing?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like this is we're just dipshits, okay? So
you're a trapped animal in a cage. A virtual reality created more than 250,000 years ago for a single purpose: to use you as food. Your emotions are food for those who created the cage.
Matrix.
Feelings of happiness and joy are digestible, but those emotions are nowhere near.
So, which is crazy because that conspiracy theory is older than the movie, and it's older than all of that. But then, is that where those guys got the idea for the Matrix from?
And also other things too. There were other things before the Matrix that had that, Well,
that's what I'm saying. Like one of the things that got my attention about the Matrix was like I thought it was like an original story, and then I heard about this conspiracy theory that's much older than the movie The Matrix. It's much older than any movie the Wachowski brothers ever made. So like it made me go, huh? So there's deeper things here that people
or James Cameron coming up with Terminator in the early 80s.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Here as nourishing as sadness, malice, and especially anger. Pain on a small scale is good.
So these
but
aliens
pain due
feed
to war,
off of
famine, and pandemics.
our emotion.
Well, that's even better. You're born, you grow, and you spend the first third of your life learning how to live in a society that barely knows you exist. Maybe get married, have kids, maybe even grandkids. Then you die, and the pain ends. But death is just the beginning, because now you get to do it all over again.
That's reincarnation.
It's only dogs and cats you don't find home.
Hinduism?
There's nothing you can YouTube channel? Hello?
Favor, s'il vous plaît.
Why are you whispering?
So he has a little sarcastic
I can't talk long. I need a favor, s'il vous plaît.
Why are you whispering?
I remember.
Only at the beginning, and they are already getting it wrong.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I'm on this stupid Da Vinci Code reality tour, and they have all the details messed up. This is not how I did anything.
How you did anything?
There was never any
Mirror.
Right after this.
Da Vinci Code.
story. Not for a few cocktail museum in Paris. I told Danny how I was going to write a book about the murder and how he found all these mistake. That nerd section tried to I think they recognize me.
Who are they? And by the way, you're supposed to be here tomorrow.
I will be there.
Blah blah blah. I think this goes into a sponsor too.
What
There's a
day?
sponsor.
Tanks.
Oh, they got
Tanks.
camouflages, K-resolution vehicles from
Play
the
this game.
1920s
Subscribe to
on
this
the way
guy.
up
Thank you.
BC. Of course, I large free. Pardon, I have some unfinished business.
The Pontiff.
The Pope.
Angels and demons.
He stole that from me too.
History comes from ancient Sumerian texts.
Okay, here we go.
The oldest recorded history comes from ancient Sumerian texts. And that's where we're first introduced to the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are believed to be 7 deities, also referred to as the 7 gods who decree. Their purpose was to determine the fate of mankind, and their stories mirror some that we find in Greek mythology. And like the Greek gods, the Anunnaki dwell in the heavens, but also interact with people and influence events here on Earth. Gods from polytheistic religions like the Anunnaki, the Greek gods, and the Roman gods served many purposes. They were used to explain natural phenomena like Zeus creating thunderstorms. Thor also served this role in Norse mythology. The gods provided comfort about the uncertainties of life and questions about mortality, the afterlife, and human suffering. Gods and their myths established social norms and values. Myths often included lessons about the virtues of honesty, courage, and wisdom, or the danger of hubris.
Morality. No, I'm just talking over it. Just
and
morality.
deceit. Worshipping gods who represent these qualities creates a framework for social and moral order. Gods are part of the creation myth of many cultures, used to explain the origin of mankind. This was also true for the ancient Sumerians. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, written thousands of years ago, the Anunnaki are directly involved in the creation of humans. However, the stories about the Anunnaki might not be myths. The stories might be history.
So it's been a bunch of things on Joe Rogan about this.
And the Anunnaki are aliens, right?
Yes.
Like that's like in a nutshell.
Well,
that's what that is.
Yes, and they're not sure about that, but they might have been. In most of the stories, they look like us, right? I believe in most of the stories, they look like us. But
Yeah,
they
well,
weren't us.
sort of like Prometheus, like where they're like in a sense, what do they call them in Prometheus? What is that?
I'm thinking
not the planter, not the harvester.
Yeah, no, hold on. Like, not the creator.
No, but you know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
Zecharia Sitchin, in his book The 12th Planet, claims the Anunnaki are actually aliens who visited Earth thousands of years ago from their home planet Nibiru. When they arrived, the deity called Enki added alien DNA to ancient man, and the result was us. The intention was to create a slave species to mine gold for the Anunnaki. The gold was refined and used in terraforming their home planet, which was suffering from a poisoned atmosphere. Now, this may sound like a far-fetched story to some,
Engineers.
but this creation story shows up in other cultures as well. There's an ancient Zulu legend about two brothers named Wawani and Mpanku, who were from an alien race with scaly skin. Thousands of years ago, the brothers stole an egg from a fire dragon, emptied out the yolk until it was hollow, and then rolled it across the sky to Earth. That egg was the moon.
So before he goes any further, I just want to say something. Like, Eddie Bravo loves talking about Hollow Earth.
Yes,
but I haven't.
like, yeah.
Okay, I think there was an episode where they mentioned the moon, and Eddie was like, "Don't even get me started on the moon, because we'll talk about Hollow Moon forever." And they all were like, "Oh, shut up, Hollow Moon! Don't even go any further." And then Joe was like, "Nope, stop."
Yeah.
Which is weird, and I just found it weird that they made him be quiet for a little bit, because we're gonna go into Hollow Moon for a second.
No, listen, dude. I'm saying I'm not opposed to I'm not opposed to listening to Hollow Moon theory. Like somebody said. Well, it's like, dude, you know, like the moon is like the Death Star, right? Like it's like there's insides to it, and I was like, no, it's a rock with dust on it. Like, what are you talking about?
There's so many weird things about the moon that
it's geologically inactive.
So listen, yes, that. So before I even watched this, I found this today, which is weird because it was in my algorithm, because I've been watching things about this kind of shit. But like the moon is bigger than every dwarf planet there is. So the moon is
it's pretty big.
It's also bigger than every moon in our solar system, I believe.
No, there are bigger moons, I think, around Jupiter and Saturn. But
well, it's bigger than what it should be. They're basically saying it
proportionately to the size of Earth.
It could be.
We really should
a planet. It's big enough to be considered a planet.
Right.
It's bigger than Pluto. It's 3 times bigger than Pluto.
In comparison to the planet that it's orbiting, it is bigger. Like percentage-wise.
Yeah.
Than the other moons and satellites in the rest of the solar system, orbiting Jupiter, which is massive, and orbiting Saturn, which is also itself massive. Their moons may be bigger than the moon itself, but comparison to the size, our moon is way bigger than comparison to the size. But you would need a planet bigger than Earth to be orbiting Jupiter to be the same size comparison. That's how big the moon is to us.
Okay, thanks for the science lesson, you fucks.
Yes, Jupiter.
Ancient texts describe a time when the moon didn't exist, or at least it didn't exist here.
So that's I also did it when I was doing the research on the moon. Besides it being 3 times as big as Pluto, all Also, there's supposedly legends or stories from so long ago that there was no moon. And I didn't know the moon doesn't rotate, so everyone sees the same side of the moon basically.
Tidally locked.
Which is why they talk about the dark side of the moon, because there is a side of the moon that technically is always dark.
Yeah, but we've seen it. It's been orbited around, and on while the sun was shining on that side, the sun does shine on that side.
No,
We
but
call
we
it
don't
because it doesn't
physically
face
see.
us.
We
Yes.
never see it because it never faces us. So it never faces us.
Aristotle wrote about the Pelasgians, who lived in ancient Greece since the oldest days, at a time before the moon. Apollonius of Rhodes also talks about a time when the moon wasn't yet in the sky.
Of course, I've heard of the Dark Side of the Moon. It's one of the best
it's
progressive
the best
rock albums of all time.
The best Pink Floyd album, in my opinion.
By far. I like The Wall, but Dark Side of the Moon is just it's yeah. I listened to it at work the other day, the whole thing. Why not?
Yeah, it is an album that you can listen to
Yeah.
straight through. You do not need to skip any tracks on that.
Sky.
In ages past, before the silver orb adorned night's somber shroud, Gaia stood alone. The tides lay still, untouched by Luna's grasp, and darkness reigned where moonlight never cast its tranquil spell. Oh, how the gods conspired to shape that radiant disk.
Greek historian Plutarch.
Also, that he referred to it as a disc is interesting, but then again, they only saw one side of the moon consistently, so it does look like a disc.
Yeah,
But
all they see is
imagine
round on one
another
side.
thing is I always forget. Like I forget things. I mean, I knew it that the moon controls the tide, but how much it actually controls the tide is fucking crazy. When you look on like a graph and the scale of the, so like
Yeah.
it has so much mass and so much gravity that's able to pull our water out, and
It turns us into like a sideways egg shape. Where
Yes.
constantly, you know,
wrote about the,
yes, exactly.
the Arcadians. They were a very ancient people who lived in Greece. Plutarch described them as a pre-lunar people. Roman poet Ovid also wrote about the Arcadians.
FYI, there's 6 people here, so like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you're new here. We love you. Thank you.
Pre-lunar people, he said. Pre-lunar people. I've never heard that term in my
Allegedly.
life.
In Arcadia's lush fields, where Pan's flute sang, a truth lies hidden, nearly forgot by man. The Arcadians are said to have possessed their land before the birth of Zeus, and the folk is older than the moon.
Evidence of a sky with no moon has also been found on the other side of the world. In the ancient site of Tiwanaku in Bolivia, there are symbols that depict the moon coming into orbit. And this happened at a specific moment in time thousands of years ago, long before recorded history. According to the Zulu and other ancient cultures, the moon didn't form. The moon was built, and not built here. The Zulus say that the moon was built in another part of the galaxy by the alien race that Warani and Mpanku came from.
What was that?
I was gonna say, yeah, it was built in a galaxy far, far away.
Far away. It's a Death Star.
They built the moon as a monitoring station to keep an eye on us, the human race. But what kind of aliens are depicted in these old legends? They're not the small gray aliens. The aliens that built the moon are reptilian.
He just said reptilian. Did you guys hear that?
We should have had the
No.
conspiracy theory thing right before that. Right before he said that.
So I could add that in the edit if I fucking ever get around to editing anything. But he just said reptilian. Now, see, I used to laugh at that conspiracy theory. Guys, I used to laugh at that conspiracy theory. And now I'm like, wait, there's ancient texts that talk about this shit? Huh. Interesting.
Well,
So,
I
like-
always figured it had to stem from somewhere. Like there had to have been some sort of precursor, like sort of historical knowledge.
A little weird. Just a little bit of a coincidence that this is.
We've been talking about green aliens for a long time. You know what I mean?
I just really hope someone's right or wrong, and Space Daddy comes to save us all.
Lizard people?
Yep, lizard people.
Lizard.
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 Lizard people.
Lizard.
Lizard people.
David Icke has written over 20 books about various conspiracy theories. He's covered everything from the Illuminati to UFOs to the multiverse.
He's my hero.
But he's probably best known for his theory about a humanoid reptilian race.
Well, it's not a theory if it's true.
Do you mind?
Sorry. Lizard people get me really excited.
Oh, I know.
Did you know you can buy a lizard people coffee mug from no iFile store?
No merch plugs, please. Ike claims that humans
I
share
want
the the
that
Earth
mug.
with a race of shape-shifting reptilian humanoids called the Archons. Wamani and Mpanku, the brothers from the Zulu legend who brought the moon to Earth, were Archons. The Sumerians called these Archon brothers Enki and Enlil, who were also rulers of the Anunnaki. This race of reptilians primarily lives underground, but a few of them live among us as well. The surface-dwelling beings are here to make sure humanity stays compliant with and unaware of their plan. They're involved in the highest levels of government, business, and technology. They're monarchs, politicians, and bankers. They own and operate major media companies.
Mark, are the allegations true that you're secretly a lizard? I'm gonna have to go with no on that. I am not a lizard.
Did we cover the video of him blinking at an interview and it looks like he blinks sideways? Did we show that?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes, that's how I saw it because you showed it to me. And I'd like to also say that Marvel already wrote the storyline. It's called, like Secret Invasion. You know what I mean?
Great comic book series.
And the Secret Wars and all that shit. Like the Skrull had been around for a while. Like, so, like Marvel's been dabbling in this and, multiverse and all that shit too. And nobody takes Marvel seriously. I take Marvel seriously. I've been using Marvel comics to build my morality. You know what I mean? Like my moral,
Yeah. Did you see have you ever seen the movie Chronicle?
I've heard of it, never watched
You should see it. It's a good kind of hero movie, but not really hero movie. 3 high school friends find like this alien ship crashed in the woods, and they go there, and it basically makes them superhuman.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And they're just average kids, and of course they do average kid things sometimes, and it goes wrong.
They influence every aspect of human life. They are the Illuminati. When we describe the reptilians as shapeshifters, you might think of a creature that physically changes its shape, like Odo from Star Trek, Mystique from Marvel Comics, or Tonks from Harry Potter. Reptilians don't do this. They actually always look like themselves. What they do is manipulate the human brain to perceive them differently. The source of the reptilians' power is their ability to alter our perception of reality. And they don't do this with telepathy, they do this with technology. According to David Icke, the moon is not only a spacecraft, but also a holographic projection device. The broadcasts from the moon warp our reality, or at least our perception of reality. There's
So I have a
what's known
question,
as...
man. I have a question. Just a little bit of a hole in this whole theory. It's a hole in the hole. So, for me at least, now they've had this technology. They had this technology hundreds of thousands of years ago. They brought it from somewhere else to build a moon, do all that stuff. And wouldn't we be better slaves if they had us use that technology all that long time ago? I mean, now that maybe they did to build pyramids and shit, maybe. But I think it would benefit them if they gave us like this sick technology that they have to like mine gold. Where is the gold mining? Where is the mining of this gold? Like, where is it happening? And wouldn't it benefit them to give us something that could make us more efficient if we're slaves?
Well, if you remember in the story,
I mean, we're getting it now.
They originally used us to mine gold, and what was the other thing? Gold and silver, or gold and whatever,
platinum, silver, all the precious metals.
So
right?
they used us for that, but then they realized that our emotions, they can feed off our emotions. Didn't he say something like that?
Oh, like vampires.
That's why we go to war, and it's always that kind of shit. But
and that's why we have a vampire myth.
But those aren't the only holes in the story. There's several holes in the story, but we're already starting to learn how to like manipulate people using radio waves and shit. So that's a whole nother level.
As
of
a
that
frequency
kind of shit.
embargo around the Earth.
Wait. Who enforces this embargo?
Well, there's a bunch of alien races who are part of a galactic federation, and they keep an eye on the reptilians,
This is the
but it's a
conspiracy.
whole
This is
thing.
not. It's
Come
not his.
on, I got time.
No, it needs its own video.
She got me all excited. This is a bunch of bullshit.
There is much more to reality.
It's just a bunch of bullshit
than we can perceive with our senses. And the human brain is quite capable of experiencing the true universe. In fact, it was specifically designed to do so. But the frequencies that would allow us to see the real world are being blocked. Instead, we're locked into the simple three-dimensional existence.
Matrix.
But there is much more being withheld from us. If you believe in simulation theory, then these beings are the creators of the simulation. If you're religious, then these beings are demons or jinn.
And also, this goes into the whole theory or question is, are we living in a simulation? And when I remember Elon Musk said it doesn't have to be a simulation yet, like you think. Like, it doesn't have to be a digital simulation.
Things could be simulated in your 3D reality perception of reality.
Look at the Truman Show, for Christ's sake.
Right.
In a way, they're not our friends. But why? Why would an advanced race want to keep humans oblivious to the real world? Well, when humans were first created, the alien creators learned something. All other animals on Earth are driven by instinct. The instinct to eat, to survive, to reproduce, and that's about it. But when the first humans were given sentience, a byproduct of that sentience was emotion. Sure, humans are still driven by instinct. We're driven to survive and reproduce like every other animal.
Ugh, and I got the guppy support payments to prove it. Oof, ah.
Wow.
But because humans are now aware of themselves and their existence, they experience the world differently. They experience fear of the future.
Apparently, the goldfish gets it in.
Humans experience the pleasure of nostalgia for the past. No other animal has this gift or this curse. Animals kill for survival, but humans kill out of hate. Our alien creators learned that our emotions carry energy, and the creators learned that this energy can be consumed for nourishment.
Remember, did you watch that Jeremy Corbell in whatever episode that was after? Okay, you should watch it. It's time consuming though, I know.
I'm about to watch the Graham Hancock one. But, yeah.
But like, he touches on these other conspiracies, and Joe's like, wait, what's that about? Joe, what's that about? And he's like, listen, there's a lot of them out there, and he's like, they're scary. Some of them are scary because
new juicy. Are they juicy?
They're not new, but he's some. This is one of them. He's basically talking about one of them, and he's like, he says to Joe Rogan, he's like, listen, there's a lot of them, and the more you put the pieces together, the scarier they get.
Okay.
Which is kind of true. Which when I watched this video, I was like, this is kind of one of the things they were talking about, and I'm like, oh man, this is kind of scary.
Negative emotions are the most nourishing of all.
The details is what's making it scary.
Some have described the alien desire for negative human emotion as a drug addiction. If humans were able to see and understand our true reality, we'd know that our energy, or soul, or spirit, or whatever you want to call it, can move to a higher plane of existence after we die. But instead, the alien creators, addicted to our emotions, keep us here. We're born, we live to feed the creators, then we die. Then we come back and do it all over again. It's forced reincarnation. This process is handled by a piece of equipment that's been called a soul recycler, or a soul cube, which is a large box-shaped device that's installed on the moon.
There's a lot of details to this.
That's okay. I was just going to go full disclosure. This is actually from the source material is like 3 or 4 books. I forgot the guy's name.
Okay. So there's source, but there's several places.
Yeah, no, he said this in the beginning. He mentioned the books and the people. I forgot John Lear or something Lear, which Jeremy Corbell and I forgot the other guy's name. Look to John Lear is the first like UFOologist, or the guy actually try to research UFOs. So, and then when he was researching UFOs, the stuff he discovered, and supposedly he was in the CIA or had some kind of clearance. So he wrote books about this kind of shit. And, of course, you're going to say he's crazy now. And well, he's dead now, I think. But
so they're saying that this reptilian satellite, right, is covered in dust, right? It's totally covered in dust.
We'll get there.
And maybe the craters are actual legit craters, and it's good camouflage. You know what I mean? Because they did cover in dust as camouflage.
They talk about that too in this video, bro. There's so much
our
detail in
energy
this
back
video.
to Earth after we die, over and over again, and has been doing so,
So
for
when you
thousands
die,
of years.
the energy goes
I
back
know the
to the
theory
moon
sounds
and
like
sent back
science
to Earth.
fiction,
Wow.
but many skeptics were turned into believers on December 6, 2021. That's when, completely by accident, a lunar probe took a picture of the Soul Cube.
Huh?
No,
it's my conclusion over many years that reincarnation is a trap. It's not that it doesn't exist, although I don't think it's quite the same as it's explained. It's a bit more subtle, maybe, but I do think it's a trap.
Did you see the way that guy looked?
Recycling of souls.
That guy looked like a total credible like journalist.
I do think it's a trap.
He looked
The
like
recycling of
totally.
souls. Reincarnation is the
Like an
machinery of this universe.
John Lear, son of Learjet
John
inventor
Lear.
Bill Lear, flew his first flight at age 14. He became a stunt pilot, a contract pilot for the CIA, and set multiple aviation records. But John Lear's most known for his theories about the alien presence on Earth. He's also exposed a lot of information about the cube-shaped soul catcher on the moon.
The soul catcher is I think is the 6 mile high tower in the middle of Sinus Medai, right in the middle of the center of the moon as you look at the moon. And the famous photo that Richard found, Lunar Orbiter 384M, shows that huge tower. And he also has 2 other photographs that show that tower.
See, that's fucking weird
I think
looking.
that's
Okay,
That's fucking weird looking.
So he's saying that it was the like they did land on the moon.
Yeah, and they photographed it.
Okay.
Tower.
They're not denying. They're not denying that we landed on the moon. Is what I'm saying.
No.
So to be one of these lizard people, like you have to believe that you landed on the moon. So they're not moon landing deniers, right?
No, they're not.
So it's not that crazy.
What, the theory?
I'm just trying to gauge, like, on the scale of like crazy conspiracy theorists to like, all right, this is treading some water.
Okay, I don't think there's actually hidden lizard people on the planet and blah 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 blah. But I'm just gonna say, I don't have enough information to say there's not.
Well, I don't have enough information to say there's not either.
None of us actually knows what we're doing on this rock floating in space and what that even means.
Some people think they have a better idea than others. I think is what most of it is, for whatever evidence that they have.
And also for those who think the Earth is flat does not fit these theories.
Die, your soul goes to the soul catcher.
But the moon isn't the only place these soul catchers exist.
There are several soul transmission stations, both on Earth and on the moon, and depending on where you're going in your next lifetime, is which transmission station takes over.
When you couple John Lear's belief in the soul catcher with David Icke's theory that we're stuck in an endless loop of reincarnation, an unsettling reality emerges that our only purpose is to serve as food for our alien jailers. And what's even more upsetting is that negative emotions are really what they crave. Supporters of the reptilian humanoid theory say that when there's a global event that affects millions of people, like a war or major conflict, it's our jailers at work.
Interesting. And look what's going on in the world right now.
So, but you know what I don't like about that? Can I say this?
Absolutely.
By saying that, you're sort of taking away accountability from actual humans creating.
Well, not if they just want to poke the bear a little bit.
Actual atrocities. I'm just saying, like, then you're like, oh, it's not me. The devil made me do it. It's like saying that. You know what I mean?
No, but they don't know about that. So how can they say that? You know, if they can control us without having to physically control us, they you control the media, you control the narrative, you control everything. So it is people committing atrocities.
So you
the
remember
blame is still on the people. They're falling for the fucking.
You remember Greek mythology, right? Like in Greek mythology, how like the gods of Greek mythology, they weren't like none of them were like benevolent or like they were all selfish.
Yeah.
Out for themselves, all of them individually. They all
100%.
and they all got to control crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like Zeus was just like fucking everybody. He had mad kids. He was just fucking everybody, and he was like he got to control lightning and
Wasn't
the
there
heavens.
a story of well, it's much like God too, but wasn't there a story of like Zeus got pissed because someone called him a whore and he like wiped out a village?
Wiped out, yeah,
with, like lava
did,
or something.
and I'm
or
sure he did the mad times, and he's done other and just like nobody says anything. Like Zeus is still great. We still worship Zeus, even though he does all this fucked up shit to people. But maybe these overlords, right, are like, okay, yeah, they do like to fuck with us, like Loki, like Loki is the god of mischief, whatever, chaos, and it's like maybe there is like, well, whatever, a higher, but it's taking away the responsibility from the individual who's like, I decided to drop a nuke on that motherfucker yesterday. But my reptilian overlord said I got to do it because they need to eat my fucking soul shit. Like we're shitting, like we're like we cry and then it's like us. We're just like shitting food into a reptile's mouth. Is that what you're telling me that this thing is? This is what they believe.
Yes.
It might explain why Cro-Magnon Homo sapiens sapien is so violent. Why are we always in states of war? Why are we competing and always challenged by murder and violence?
I really don't like the idea that we're not in control of our lives. And I really hate the idea that we're not in control of our death. So my mind just rejects the idea altogether. But then I found this.
What the is that?
That is the Soul Cube on the moon.
Leaping lizards! See what I did there?
This photo was taken December 6, 2021 by the Chinese-made lunar
So this
rover
is new.
U-22 while exploring the far side of the moon. A cube-shaped object is clearly seen 80 meters from the Von Karman crater. And for some reason, the China National Space Administration labeled this object Mystery Hut. And this only lends credence to the idea that the moon is a sort of observatory with a soul-harvesting machine. There's even more evidence that Earth is actually what some call a prison planet. In his book, Humans Are Not From Earth, Dr. Ellis Silver contends that humans are actually...
What's up?
You know the band Clutch?
Yes.
Okay. So the lead singer of Clutch, a lot of his lyrics, he goes into like a lot of conspiracy theory shit about this. And I knew this back in like the early 2000s. When I started listening to them, it might have been like around 2001. And it was like mostly because the music is awesome, but because his lyrics were involved in conspiracy theories. And there's a song called Escape from the Prison Planet. And that's sort of what this theory is like. Oh, well, we're animals of this earth, but we're sort of trapped here on purpose and not allowed to evolve past this warring, semi-advanced society. Anyway, continue. My bad.
No bad. When you said that, you said Clutch. I was like, yeah, I like Clutch. Of course, I know who Clutch is. Then you started saying how he believes this, and I'm like, wait a second, I remember this now. I had discussions. My memory is shit. I'm 38 years old. I feel like I have the memory of a 60 or 70-year-old because I forget things. I forget my, like, when I was 18, 19 years old, I hung out with these metalhead kids. And we all hung out in a basement drinking, smoking, and we were talking about conspiracy theories. And these are the same kind of conspiracy theories we were talking about back then that everyone said was completely insane. And now there's like
relevant now. They're still very around. Like that's what's crazy is that some of these have not. They've stood the test of time.
Yes, they had to. The ones that have stood the test of time had to originate somewhere, whether there's some truth involved or not.
Actually, from another planet. They were brought here thousands of years ago and mated with Neanderthals. The hybrid species is us.
My thesis proposes that mankind did not evolve from native Earth organisms,
but it makes sense.
But evolved elsewhere and was transported to Earth between 60,000 and 200,000 years ago.
Besides dogs and other creatures we have mutated over the years by crossbreeding and whatnot, what other creature suffers from cancers and diseases like we do? What other creature gets
I mean,
sunburn?
dogs.
I just said
yeah,
besides dogs and other animals that have been mutated over the years because we crossbred them.
Yeah.
Whatever, because they were originally wolves and we crossbred all these wolves until we got dogs, and then now
Yeah.
that that's how you get a twinkledoodle or whatever. You fucking it's mutated. It's not supposed to live like that.
Yeah.
But like you think of like the sun is not really fit for our bodies. It gives us cancer and
Yeah,
Mankind
I guess
is
so. Too much
supposedly-
exposure does, but too
Well, they
much
go
sun
into more
exposure.
detail.
There's other organisms on the planet that too much sun exposure is no good for too. But do you know what I'm thinking? Looking at this thing, I'm like, wow, that's a sick Imperial Cruiser fucking Lego set that somebody
the
built.
most highly developed species on the planet, yet is surprisingly unsuited and ill-equipped for Earth's environment.
The idea that extraterrestrials played a role in human history is also known as intervention theory. Dr. Silver argues that if humans actually evolved on Earth, we'd be much more comfortable with the environment. For example, humans are really the only animals that are susceptible to sunburn. Fish, reptiles, birds all have natural ultraviolet protection in their scales and feathers. Whales and dolphins have special skin cells that repair DNA damaged by UV radiation. Any mammal with fur is protected from ultraviolet rays, including apes. If we evolved from apes, why did we lose our hair? Evolution is supposed to make us stronger, not weaker.
Although he's forgetting something, we did have hair at one point, and then
I don't know. I don't know if this dude hasn't seen a lot more other humans like that I've seen that are fucking straight up covered in fucking.
Not even that. Not even that. But
just very much covered.
there was
in
an
hair,
invention called clothing that would have caused us to evolve and not need body hair anymore as much.
Yes.
Yes. Here's the thing, though. He says it in all his videos is that he researches the topic and expresses the topic and the theories based on what he read. So he's translating and jumbling all the books together to give it this one theory that they have. So he's not going to use the ways that it can be debunked every little way across the theories, but
just stating the the theories. Yeah,
because we have shoes now and we have pants and shirts and hats.
Yeah, right.
Not true for your Uncle Vito.
That's true. He's pretty hairy.
Pretty hairy. Ugh, I bet that guy can open a banana with his feet.
Dr. Silver points out that human babies are basically helpless at birth. They require constant attention for years or they'll die. Yes, some species of animals require parental care for a time after birth, but there are plenty of species that require none. Insects, fish, and most reptiles are born completely self-sufficient. Some land mammals are born standing up. Some birds are born with their eyes open and able to find food on their own. No other animal on the planet is as helpless as we are at birth. Silver claims the reason so many people have bad backs is that we evolved on a planet with less gravity. That's why as we age, our knees and hips give out. We're not designed to be so heavy. We're also prone to chronic illness more than other mammals. So why were we brought here in the first place? Well, Silver has a few ideas. One is that humans were brought to Earth as a natural predator to wipe out other species. Now, if that's true, it worked. At one time, there were several different hominid species living on Earth at the same time.
I do like that theory. Like we're a predator species, so it was like they threw us out there to sort of cull.
Yeah, but at the same time, if their DNA is mixed with like alien, if our DNA is mixed with alien DNA and it made us this amazing thing, right? If they were that advanced, they could have just wiped out everything on the planet anyway.
Right.
Why would they need,
time? As recently as just 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals, Denisovans, and at least one other species coexisted with each other for several 100,000 years. Then modern man arrived and suddenly all other species were gone. But Dr. Silver has another theory that tracks with a lot of what we've discussed today, that humans were removed from our natural environment because we were violent, we were destructive, and we overconsumed natural resources.
That hasn't changed.
The theory said that the aliens erased our memories so we'd have no recollection of the civilizations and technologies we left behind. Then they dropped us off on Earth and left us to our own devices. They watched us for a while to see how we developed, and eventually they left. All the UFO activity we're seeing now could be our creators coming to check on their creation. Maybe they're checking to see if we've evolved past our violent tendencies. Maybe we're finally ready to be released from our prison and reintegrate into galactic society. If that's really why they're here, then unfortunately for us, our parole, it's going to be denied.
Well, if that's true, right, I would definitely
the existence of the human soul.
That we would not get the stamp of approval.
No, we would not. I mean, look what's going on. No, we would not get the stamp. No way.
Soul has been pondered, well, forever. Greek philosophers like Plato and Socrates proposed an immortal soul that lives on after the body's death. Many religions say the soul originates from God and exists eternally. But does scientific evidence support the existence of a soul that can be quantified? In the early 20th century, physician Duncan McDougall tried to determine if the soul had measurable mass. He thought that if a soul existed, it would have weight. So upon death, the soul would escape and the weight loss could be detected.
Like
McDougall had 6 dying patients placed on sensitive scales, finding that they lost an average of 21 grams at the moment of death.
Yeah.
He concluded this represented the soul's mass. But this small sample size and errors in methodology cast doubt on the experiment. Modern neuroscience says our consciousness and sense of self exist in our physical brain, not a separate soul. Brain imaging shows that our personality, our memories, and capabilities are tied to physical patterns and activity within our neurons. Damage to certain areas of the brain through injury or disease can impact sensory perception, mobility, emotions, and even one's identity. However, there is an argument that, sure, the brain is responsible for cognition and awareness, but a soul could simply be energy that creates our consciousness. And if so, that consciousness could continue after death. According to new theories using quantum physics, the soul may exist in another dimension beyond our normal space-time. Some type of quantum non-locality and entanglement.
What was that?
Energy doesn't have mass.
Quantum entanglement.
This is where information is passed between particles, not just faster than the speed of light, but instantly, no matter how far apart they are. This theory says the soul interacts with the human body through quantum states, exchanging information instantly.
Literally like a computer matrix, like the Matrix. Wow.
Instantly across any distance. Studies of near-death experiences provide intriguing reports of the soul leaving the body and passing through a tunnel and encountering angelic beings or dead relatives. Yet neuroscience says many elements of NDEs are generated by physical brain activity under stress. Out-of-body and near-death episodes have been induced in controlled settings by stimulating specific parts of the brain. Conclusive scientific evidence of the human soul has yet to be discovered. But maybe the soul isn't meant to be detected with a scale or a microscope or a
You never know, but if they do, there'll be denial.
computer.
They're not gonna find
And
it.
just because we can't see it doesn't mean
There's 7 people here now. Interesting. I don't know where you people are coming from. You people. I don't know what I mean by you people. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe and whatever.
it's not there.
And comment.
And
You
tell
guys
us
think-
if you believe in the lizard people
Do
theory.
you think lizard people actually control Earth and they live on the moon?
From the
Religions
moon
around
base.
the world say the soul is eternal. In Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the soul originates from God and can achieve eternal life through faith and virtuous living. Hinduism and Sikhism believe the soul is immortal and reincarnated based on karma. Buddhism is
To be honest, Jonathan, I'm not saying I don't believe that. I'm gonna say that I'm thinking.
I think Yoni could be totally fucking part lizard person.
Okay, but what I do think is that we honestly, as a species, don't know not as much as I thought we knew about our life on this planet. We don't. Everything we were taught was what they had at that time. The information at the time, with the
Yeah.
technology they had at the time.
It's
Now,
like
new
pretty much-
technology and new ways to
Yeah.
figure things out, and we're gonna start
Yeah.
figuring a lot more things out because they're starting to figure out that a lot of the stories in the Bible and the Old Testament and the New Testament, which is the Bible, but I'm just saying, and in the Quran, that all those stories have some geological connection where, like, they talk about a big flood and they go, oh, there's history of a big flood in that area, where it wasn't, as the story tells, where it was the whole world, but it
Yeah.
would seem like the whole world in that area.
But
And
all
then
those stories only really bring us back 5,000 years, and there were
Big
things
flood.
that happened way before that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
There are things that happened, you know, like 20,000 years ago, and people were aware enough of what the fuck was going on in their environment, and or to communicate whether or not they saw something from the sky come down and do some weird shit and bounce.
Is a little
Yeah.
different though. The Wheel of Life provides a symbolic map of samsara in Buddhism. Buddhists must attain enlightenment before moving beyond this cycle, and that can take many, many tries. And that's starting to sound a lot like the Soul Recycler. And here's something interesting. In the image of the Wheel of Life, which is found on the walls of monasteries and schools all over the world, Buddha's pointing at the moon.
Ooh.
Maybe he likes the moon. I like
the moon. Is the most familiar object in the night sky. It's inspired stories and myths and even religions. The moon has fueled scientific intrigue throughout human history. But here's the thing. The moon is weird. By all accounts, it shouldn't even be there. The moon's orbit is extremely close to the Earth. In fact, it's the largest moon in relation to its host planet in our entire solar system.
Like I said earlier.
Any solar system. We've never found anything like this in the galaxy. And this proximity has made total solar eclipses possible. This is because of the precise diameters and distances between the sun, moon, and Earth. This is an unbelievable coincidence. Some might say impossible.
Yo, I have a theory.
It is very random. It is very random that the moon does that. You know that, right? Statistically speaking.
Yes, I know. I have a theory. Whenever there's a total eclipse, they're doing an oil change on the moon ship. So we can't see it. It's completely blocked out. It's on the front side of the moon.
And it's on a schedule, and it's on a set schedule.
Yep.
So they know. They know. Wow.
Yeah, makes sense.
There is no astronomical reason why the moon and the sun should fit so well. It is the sheerest of coincidences, and only the Earth among all the planets is blessed in this fashion.
It's not only too close, it's too big.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Using other planets as a reference, the size of the moon should be about 40 miles in diameter. That's it. It's over 2,000 miles wide. This is also not seen anywhere else. The closest comparison is Pluto and its moon Charon, which is about 2/3 the size of Pluto. But this probably doesn't count because Pluto and Charon are a double dwarf planet.
That's what she said. What?
The Earth and Moon are also really a double planet. But there's something else strange about that. The barycenter, or center of gravity between the Earth and Moon, is inside the Earth. That means there should be a wobble in the Moon's orbit. The Moon does wobble a little bit, but its orbit is one of the most perfectly circular that's ever been seen. The Moon is also precisely locked in orbit so the same side always faces Earth. This is also highly unusual among moons and planets.
Yeah,
Some scientists argue that the Moon doesn't wobble because it's not very dense. But that's also a problem. If the Moon and Earth were formed at the same time, which is the leading theory, then why is the Earth so much more dense?
Because the moon is hollow.
Right.
Or porous, or they think it's like pumice. Like it's like pumice, like it's porous. Like there are tunnels and caves all over the moon. That's what that's what I've heard.
Okay, it's not the lizard people. It's the Nazis. The Nazis weren't defeated. They all just went to the moon.
They did. I thought they went to Argentina, but instead they went to the moon, you think?
The smart ones went to the moon. The dumb ones went to Argentina and died.
They all had those rockets. You know, that's where we get the moon rocket from. We get the moon rocket from the Nazis.
I'm telling you.
That was their design.
Our knowledge of the moon's gravitational field, indicating the frightening possibility that the moon might be hollow.
Hollow moon, man.
In November 1969, Apollo 12 launched as NASA's second manned mission to the moon. One of the key objectives was investigating the moon's interior. Apollo 12 astronauts placed seismometers on the lunar surface, similar to those used to detect earthquakes on Earth. The astronauts then intentionally crashed their ascent stage module into the moon to gather seismic data. Instead of typical seismic patterns, the data showed the moon vibrating for over an hour. The moon was famously described as ringing like a bell. The phenomenon led some to speculate that the moon might be hollow or contain significant hollow spaces. This theory is supported by the still classified Apollo 17 project called Chapel Bell. And this sounds like an experiment that has something to do with sound, but all these years later, it's still classified. Why? In 1970, two Soviet scientists proposed that not only is the moon hollow, the moon is an artificial spacecraft brought to Earth a long time ago. This spaceship moon theory explains many of the anomalies, like the low density, the sound reverberation, and why the moon is even here at all.
This is
Spaceship
crazy.
Moon also explains
Right?
It being like that they moved it. I would assume believe they built it and then covered it in dust to camo it.
Well, you gotta think like, okay, Star Wars for a second here. The Death
Okay.
Star, like, say it has okay, so we know these silver tic-tacs that they see in the sky basically defy the logic of the anything, the gravity. They just
Physics.
There's
Doesn't
nothing
obey
that,
physics.
There's
It obeys
nothing
no
that even
physics,
makes
yeah.
sense. There's no physics. We don't know how that does that. It goes from 0 feet to almost 60,000 feet, or from 60,000 feet almost to 0 feet. It was observed doing some crazy shit. So if they could do that, why can't you use gravity to move a planet into another planet's orbit, or a device into another planet's orbit?
Oh, I don't think that they can't. I think it would be just efficiency-wise, it would be more efficient just to build it outside.
Well, you remember there's the stories that he referred to earlier with the ancient civilizations that said the moon appeared or the moon came from somewhere.
Maybe what do they call it? Narubu? What is it called?
I think it's Narubu, but I'm not sure. We're dipshits.
Yeah.
Don't listen to us.
So there is actual scientific theories saying that there's the planet X.
Yes.
Which they also call it that too, Narubu, Narubu.
Did they actually ever officially find it?
Yeah, and they think that it orbits in an oblong way, like across the path of our solar system, and not in orbit with the rest of the planets, like the 9 planets or eight planets in Pluto, due to the sun. Because even Pluto has a very weird, like orbit. But the other 8 planets, that it pulls asteroids out of the asteroid belt that Jupiter cannot intercept. And that's what caused, like, for example, the catastrophe that killed the dinosaurs and so on and so forth, and other natural disasters that maybe like they say the younger, whatever I call it, dry ice theory.
Right.
I know it's dry eyes theory. What is it called? Dry ice theory, dry eyes theory, dry ice theory.
I actually don't know.
Where 12,000 years ago there may have been like some sort of
the younger Dryas.
Dryas, or is it dry ice or dry eyes?
Dryas.
Dryas. Okay. So that theory is saying that there was some sort of cataclysm
dry ice, dry. I'm like, what are you saying?
Like dry ice? How do you say it, Mike? I have a weird accent. Dries. Anyway, that theory stating that there was a cataclysm that happened 12,000 years ago, that we might have been at some point more advanced, but then that was all taken away after a fucking like a aftermath of an impact winter.
Yes.
Like a nuclear winter that maybe
it
happened over
supposedly
decades.
Stopped the ice age. We were in the middle of an ice age and it just instant evaporated everything. Some nonsense like that. But I think he's going to talk about that in this.
The strange crater issue.
Crater issue?
Oh, yeah. Moon
So the
craters
moon craters
are very odd. When an asteroid impacts a moon or planet, it leaves a crater. The bigger the asteroid, the deeper the crater, right?
Yeah, I feel you.
Well, on the moon, no matter how big the object that impacts it, craters don't penetrate deeper than a couple of miles. Now, this could be explained by a rigid, impenetrable outer shell encasing the moon.
Spaceship Moon.
Mm-hmm.
If the astronomical data is reduced, it is found that the data require that the interior of the moon is less dense than the outer parts. Indeed, it would seem that the moon is more like a hollow than a homogeneous sphere.
Data also indicates the moon's core is less dense than the outer layers, the complete opposite of, well, every other celestial object ever discovered. Soil and moon
More
dust on the
dense as you go
surface
into the middle.
are actually older than the rock and soil within the moon. That only makes sense if the interior moon was mined, hollowed out,
So
and then the material
exterior
brought to
part
the
of the moon
surface.
is older than the interior.
Now, there are scientific explanations for all of this, but to be honest, they fall short.
Looking at all the anomalies and unanswered questions about the moon, the best explanation for the moon is an observational error. It doesn't exist.
It's easier to explain
crazy,
the non-existence of the moon than its existence.
It's easier to explain that doesn't exist than explain that it's there. Wow.
The thing that I'm looking at like every night. I mean, not every night, but when it's visible, not a new moon. You know what I mean? Every time I look up and I see the,
We cannot help but come to the conclusion that the moon, by rights, ought not to be there. The fact that it is one of those strokes of luck almost too good to accept.
Wow.
The moon is weird. It shouldn't be there, and it might be hollow. But is it a transmission device that affects our behavior? Well, there's more crime during a full moon. There are more car accidents. Sensitivity to pain is higher during a full moon. A full moon disrupts our sleep. Some people are prone to erratic behavior during a full moon. This is called the werewolf effect. This is also where the word lunatic comes from. Talk to a cop or a nurse. They'll tell you that they can tell when it's getting close to a full moon. Again, science tries to explain this erratic behavior.
Emergency rooms also.
Mm-hmm. My friend broke his collarbone on a motorcycle. I went with him to the hospital, and the wait was insane. And one of the nurses said it might be a while. It's a full moon tonight, and I was like, "What does that even mean?"
I think that's a common, yeah.
Yeah, it's a common
Like there's
thing.
more crime during a full moon because it's easier to see.
No, it's also easier to get caught.
Right, the science is thin. And notice that all these changes in behavior during a full moon are negative. More crime, more pain, more car crashes. If there are aliens feeding off our negative emotions and they use the moon to do it, well, suddenly everything makes sense. But there is good news.
It's convenient. It's very convenient.
How can you fight back? He said, "There's good news. You can fight back."
Reptilian humanoid aliens using technology to alter our reality in order to create negative emotions? Our souls being used for food, then recycled over and over again on the moon? This story is a lot. And how much of it is true? Well, a lot of it depends on your perspective and what you choose to believe. But let's take it one piece at a time. The Anunnaki are documented in Sumerian texts, but there's plenty of documentation of Zeus and Apollo and Athena and the rest of the Greek gods. Same with Roman gods, Norse gods, all gods really.
Yeah,
But are any of those
exactly.
gods real? Well, you decide. But Zecharia Sitchin's interpretations of Sumerian texts have been largely discredited and disregarded. He's been criticized for inaccurate translations of the Sumerian tablets. Skeptics say he manipulated the translations in order to support his theory.
Yeah, but his story is true.
Maybe. But the story about gods coming from the sky, creating man or helping man, that story is almost universal. The Anunnaki are also connected to the Great Flood, which is a story found in every culture on Earth. Supporters of the Anunnaki theory claim that human genetics have traces of alien DNA. The truth is, human DNA is pretty boring. Our DNA is close to everything on Earth. Chimps share almost 99% of their DNA with humans. Dogs and cows share around 80%. Birds and humans share 65% of their DNA. Humans even share over 50% of their DNA with bananas.
You're a fucking banana,
crazy.
bro.
Half a banana. Half a banana.
Yep.
Half a
Maybe that's
banana.
why you got
So weird.
appeal.
So weird.
Half a banana.
Did you hear that joke?
Yeah. Yeah, half a banana.
Dr. Ellis Silver's theory that humans didn't originate on Earth is really interesting. He lays out a lot of scientific evidence to support this theory. But even he admits the theory has some holes, and he's released updates to try and fill in some of these holes. Still, mainstream science rejects the idea that humans originated on a different planet. But there is a wrinkle. In 2020, researchers discovered that about 50,000 years ago, ancient humans procreated with a species that scientists didn't know existed. They call this ghost DNA.
That's
and the
crazy.
timing lines up perfectly with Dr. Silver's theory. His book is amazing, and I'd love to do a full episode on how humans might have been transported here. So if you'd like to see that, let me know. That will be a wild ride. Now, let's talk lizard people.
Lizard.
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 Better.
David Icke.
My hero.
David Icke is well-read, well-spoken, and highly entertaining. His theories are extremely creative. But like most conspiracy theories, you can't prove or disprove him. But remember, in 1991, he claimed to be the son of God and the
See?
world was going to end.
Guys,
And he made this
psycho.
claim on television while wearing a turquoise tracksuit.
Good to see. Good to see. You do claim to be the son of God.
Oh, come on, heroes wear tracksuits.
The lizard people story seems to have started in 1934 with an LA Times article. A mining engineer claimed to have found tunnels underneath Los Angeles. A Hopi Indian told him the legend of the lizard people, who are an advanced race that escaped through the tunnels 5,000 years ago.
Well, that's why so many movie stars are shape-shifting lizard people. Easy commute.
Maybe, but there are no tunnels and there is no Hopi legend of the lizard people, so I don't believe that one. And honestly, when I started this topic, I didn't believe any of it. Well, except for the moon stuff. The moon is weird. But while researching, I found myself bouncing between feelings of depression and fear and anxiety and especially anger. The message boards, blogs, comment sections I came across are filled with people expressing outrage. They're furious that they have us all trapped in this never-ending loop of misery.
Wow.
That we're made to endure this torturous, unfair life time and time again. We're not given a choice to come back or not. Our only purpose is to be feeding off our negative emotions.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, they're
It's the
giving our
Matrix.
jailers exactly what they want.
Yeah.
There were so many
Except
comments
the
that were
machines-
blame-seeking.
machines were
I saw a lot of
feeding
people with a
off of us.
self-centered victim mentality. It was frustrating to read, but I understand it. Life is hard. Life is unpredictable. And life is painful. When things in life go wrong, it's easy to shift responsibility to a theoretical they
Yeah,
instead
like
of
you said
looking
all
in the
this.
mirror.
This is what you said earlier.
David Icke, John Lear, and others who promote the reptilian conspiracy say that we don't have to exist in an endless cycle of pain and reincarnation. Negative emotions fuel the cycle. Positive emotions can break it. So you have a choice. You can choose to be the change. Choose kindness over anger. Choose acceptance over judgment. And choose gratitude over the endless. Just choose love over hate. Now, I know it's not easy. I really do. But your life really can be whatever you want it to be. The choice is yours.
Moral of the story.
So it's official, guys. The moon is a spaceship. It's watching us very closely.
I do like that. I think I want to delve in a little bit deeper on my own personal time and like actually watch a few videos of like just try to see what kind of information I could, get up about that, the moon being the Death Star, or like a boring Death Star. It's actually very boring. If it's a Death Star, it's boring.
Well, because we're just watching what we do and controlling us theoretically, and not theoretically. It's a fact, everyone. I just learned that from that documentary. It's not really a documentary. It's an episode of a YouTube show.
It's creepy. It's creepy for Halloween, right? It's a little creepy for Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody.
But it's the official. It's a fact.
Right?
It's a fact.
Halloween.
As we learned today, that it's a fact that the lizard people are watching us, and they live on the moon, or they use the moon to control our emotions, and the soul recycler is true. Right? And we'll learn more about it on Sundays and Wednesdays at 9:30.
At 9:30. And be safe out there, kids. Happy Halloween. And we'll
learn more about it on Sundays and Wednesdays at 9:30.
Sundays at 9:30. And be safe out there, kids. Wednesday. Happy Halloween. And we'll
learn more about it.